Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Do you see everything that's taking place? You have to look at everything all together. Then you begin to see the big picture. Now, this is what I'm going to do. Here, I'm going to give you all the titles of these articles because I want to jump around because they're all interlinked in a way. They all run back to Ripple, and Ripple draws to one. All the things Ripple is doing come to one conclusion. XRP price skyrocketing, inevitably, inexorably. Why? Because that's where all the pathways lead. Liquidity, bridge currency, and every other possible way. But wait, look at all this that's going on right now. This article is titled, U.S. Crypto Coalition Warns Bank Data Fees Could Cut Off Stable Coins. Really? But then think about this. They don't care. Why? Before there was stable coins, Bank of America, Santander, SBI, we could go on and on. All of these major institutions have played with and know about XRP, have had multitude of meetings and have deep relationships with Ripple. Who said what is at the forefront? Huh? What's that? What did you say? X what? XRP. They said XRP is at the forefront. They know that. Now, will they perhaps use stable coins? Maybe, sure. Yeah, there's some power that's leaning everyone that way, even though stable coins are the metaphorical knife poking holes in the rib cage of the legacy financial system. Stable coins are the Brutus to the legacy system's Caesar. That's the perfect way to put it. Perfect way to put it. They know that. And they're not quite in position just yet. Yeah, they're not. So they're saying, well, you know what? Hold on now. There's that aspect. Then there's also the aspect of, remember I said, it's hard for a lot of these institutions to let go of their fees. How does this benefit XRP? You should already know where this is going. They don't need stable coins because if they chose, they could use XRP outright. What do people believe that the private ledger is for? Also have no fear of the private ledger because David Schwartz made it clear there can't be two XRP prices. That's a major thing to keep in mind. And then also there's not a lot of us. There's not a lot of us that have XRP, 8 billion people in the world. How many of those people have XRP? Just a handful compared to the total number of people on the planet. So there's not many of us. And most of the people that have XRP are going to sell early anyway. In my humble opinion, not financial advice, just my humble opinion. You could disagree. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. I'm merely presenting these ideas. This is one article that they dropped today. Think about that for a moment. XRP closed ecosystem is made for interbank payments, which means it's made for closed ecosystems. Which means it's made for that that privacy, how they're reinforcing privacy now. Ripple, we have to have extra privacy. Is that for you? Is that for him or her? Who's it for? It's for the banks. Financial institutions. Who was large financial institutions, banks or otherwise, non-banking financial institutions are going to be there as well. Who was Brad Garlinghouse having meetings with recently that was in the news, but then it got buried? Why did it get buried? Who's he meeting with? Financial institutions on Wall Street. Folks, it's getting bigger and bigger. People are not seeing this, the entirety of the picture. And then the mainstream media is doing they've gone berserk lately trying to bury XRP news or downplay it. Meanwhile, they're collecting massive amounts of XRP. We saw the same game be run with Bitcoin. Did we not? We heard it from the horse's mouth. Individuals, big money individuals, one of them was Kevin O'Leary. So don't try to tell me it didn't happen. It did. We saw it. We heard it from the horse's mouth. Go look up the interview. That's one person. There were a multitude of other big money individuals who were against Bitcoin, speaking about how Bitcoin was clownish and it wasn't worth anything, no value, etc., downplaying it. And then they came out when Bitcoin skyrocketed. They came out and told the truth, like that individual. And they said what? What did he say? Oh yeah, I was buying XRP at that time. It's a game. My apologies for my explosiveness. I apologize. Some of you may be relaxing at this particular time. But I'm excited. Let me be for a short time. You never know. I need to give everything I can on this day. We don't know what tomorrow is. I'm not waiting on tomorrow. I treat every day like it's my last day. Every day like it's my last day. I give it everything I've got. That's just how I live. That's how I look at it. So let me be excited for now. I may say let me because I'm being respectful. I'm going to do what I please. Now, so you have that aspect here. They can use XRP outright. They don't even, and this is why, once again, I believe, you don't have to share this belief, is why Ripple positioned itself so firmly outside the escrow. They're doing that whole $1 billion XRP collection, whatever that is, whatever nomenclature they're going to attach to it, doesn't matter. They did that for a reason. Because they want to stay in the, not necessarily controlling position, but it sort of is. Because if they want to really profit from XRP over the long term, which XRP for them is not just value, it's also power because of lending, because of influence, etc. People just don't understand how deep that rabbit hole goes. But they know the banks can come in. They have the knowledge now. They've always had the capital, and it's almost time. And they're moving into a position to utilize XRP without Ripple. That's the point. Without Ripple. They don't need to work with Ripple. No disrespect. I'm just calling it how it is. They don't need to work with Ripple to utilize XRP, and they know it, and they know. The XRPL system set up all over the world globally, and they know. And they know Ripple also always keeps it in the back of their mind that it's better to work with the legacy system than to go against it and fight them. They know that as well. So even if they build outside of Ripple and use XRP outside of Ripple, they still know that they can still work with Ripple. They can connect to the system. You think Ripple's going to reject them? No. Don't worry. I have other articles that I said they were impactful. I was serious about that. Which, by the way, if you like this type of content, take those powerful hands of yours like this and go boom, 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 and hit that like button maybe a few times. I don't know. Maybe you do. We'll get to those articles in a moment. So they know that. You're witnessing a race towards an explosion in value and a shift in the powers of the world, and you're a part of it. When this all goes down, if it goes the way that it appears to be, not financial advice, not advice at all, just my humble opinion, we will all be legendary. It's not just about value. We are living a historic moment. And you and I will be able to say, we knew the change of the age was here. But see, I think like that. That's just, I know you want to know more about the value, et cetera, or something. Let me jump back to those points there. Now look at this. I told you, folks, Ripple has so many connections to the U.S. government. It's like chess. They're moving into position where they have so much influence that XRP will be ingrained, an integral part of the U.S. financial system if Ripple has anything to say about it. You think not? This is a glimpse at how, I'm going to give you a little glimpse here, of the influence they have. And no, it's not like others. Let me read this little tidbit here. So this article is titled, Senators Reaffirm Commitment to Market Structure Bill After Meeting with Coinbase and Ripple. Forget Coin. I'm not worried about Coinbase. Ripple. Interesting. We know Ripple does lobbying. We know all of that. But are you connecting all the different pieces? What pieces, Mick? They've been the biggest lobbyer in crypto. Lobbying, paying politicians money to have their ear, which has always been an interesting phenomenon, in my humble opinion, as those individuals are supposed to serve the people. But that's interesting, is it not? Right. We ask questions here. Questions are very valuable, I say to you on this most pulchritudinous day. I couldn't remember that word yesterday, but I remember today. I was like, what is that word? Because I stumbled on a word yesterday, and I was like, well, I stumbled on such a basic word. I know all these other words I've been learning. I like to grow. And I was like, what is that large word? I couldn't remember it. Pulchritudinous. Means beautiful, desirable. Let's go here, folks. Yeah, see, I sprinkle a little knowledge to you. I sprinkle a little, what is that face? Right? A little knowledge to you. Get serious. Stop playing around. You're joking around too much. The rabbit hole goes deep. What are all the connections here? They're just a lobbyer like everyone else, Mick. Thank goodness I don't just go with what people tell me. I ask questions, I do my own research, and I'm not controlled. Because it goes much deeper than they're just this facile idea that they're simply just lobbying like everyone else. No. Look at this. If they didn't have a deeper agenda, then all of this would not exist. So major contributions to political action committees, PACs. This is all about Ripple. Fairshake. Ripple is a major financial backer of Fairshake, a leading crypto industry super PAC. As we know, also, I said before, they're one of the biggest. Ripple itself, independently, one of the biggest lobbyists for years, especially during the bloody bear market where almost no one else wanted to step forward because all the other companies were stepping back in cowardice. I mean, no disrespect, but it simply was what it was. And Ripple was stepping forward. Politicians take eye to that. Let's keep going. This PAC supports U.S. congressional candidates. Interesting. So that capital and possibly verbal support, because the media is definitely going to cover that, helps these congressional candidates get into position. It says here for both the Republicans and Democrats. Okay, so they helped any of these ones get into position. And even if they didn't get into position, they definitely helped them. So they will remember that. And when it comes to things like that, they owe them. Do they not? You think not? Their pockets. Let's just, listen, this is just my humble opinion. I'm going to say it how it appears in my mind. Their pockets got fat off of all of this lobbying. You think they don't feel that they owe them, or that Ripple doesn't feel like they should have their ear? Of course they do. Of course they do. But let's keep going. It goes deeper. Ripple has made substantial contributions to Fairshake. Okay, let's get off of that. Let's go to here. You think that's it? Chris Larson, Ripple co-founder and executive chairman, Chris Larson is one of the crypto industry's largest individual political donors. You don't see what's going on? That's interesting. So already we see a multi-pronged attack. They're just shoving politicians in their back pocket. Why do you think that is? They did I think it was what was the individual, the lawyer from Ripple? My word, I can't remember his name. No, I mean, no disrespect. My apologies. But the lawyer, remember the lawyer said that they believed that the banks in the United States would utilize XRP. Remember that? So for some reason, there had to be a cause for him to say that. Stuart Alderati, there you go. We're cooking today. He had to have a cause in order to say that. Every effect, that was the effect. There had to be a cause. What could be the cause but meetings with banks, or his knowledge that they've closed a lot of deals with banks, which then was confirmed in a way a year later, because earlier this year, Brad Garlinghouse said in an interview, he said something akin to, I'm paraphrasing heavily, but you can look this up. Many of you already saw this, that they had a bunch of central banks they were working with, many of which they had not even named. Wait, so that all goes together. So that could be, reasonably, that could be the cause, right? Okay, so you have that. But then also you have this, simultaneously, they're just getting all of these politicians into their back pockets. You don't see where all of this may be leading to. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Believe your own eyes. Go look for it. Go look, do a little Google search, a little Yahoo search, or use your AI if you trust it. A little search, and then just see with your own eyes and take it from there. Make up your own mind. But seeing for yourself is the best thing. Knowing for yourself is the best thing. Don't ever let someone else lead you. You're a leader. Don't ever let someone else lead you. You're a leader. You know, oh, I'm in a relationship, Mick. I'm not talking about like that. But if you're in a relationship, then you two are supposed to be one, and you're supposed to lead together anyway. Right? So either way, you're leading yourself. All right. All right. You got that? All right. You think that's where it stops? Huh? Huh? Come on now. Of course it doesn't stop there. Let's put another one on the table. A lot of people don't know this. They're new to XRP. You got to tell them. You got to inform them as a researcher. So what we do, we put the information on the table. What you do with it is up to you. So now, it goes into lobbying effort, direct lobbying. Apart from all of that, Ripple engages in direct lobbying of the U.S. government to advocate for specific legislation related to digital assets, stablecoins, and regulatory clarity. All right, that's interesting. Okay, you think this stops there? No, let's keep going. The hiring, have people forgotten? The hiring of former government officials. It doesn't get deeper than that. Some people have forgotten. Like was who made that song? Y'all must have forgot. Roy Jones Jr. There you go. That was a good song. A lot of people hate on that song, but that was a good song. Roy Jones was one of the best back then. Young people wouldn't understand it. You had to be there to see it. But y'all must have forgot. Yeah. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hiring government officials. They have a lot of them. Not only that, but what they leave out of this information. It's just you and me here, right? There's no one. You're not allowing people to eavesdrop, right? Because this is just between you and I. Okay, now that we got that clear and it's just you, they also have former or had, we're not sure because they don't update us all the time, former employees of the Fed. You don't see what's going on here? Who else does this? What other company has done such? They've played a masterful game of chess thus far. We'll see how far it goes. I mean, anything is possible. Anything can happen. I'm not an absolutist. Not at all. But let's read this little tidbit. Ripple has hired individuals with significant political experience. You don't think they have connections? Why do you think they did this? You think these people are the best of the best? I can assure you they're not. I know so many high IQ individuals, and they don't work for the government. They work for private institutions. I'm just telling you what I know. You may know something different. I'm not saying that they're bad employees of the government or something like that, or they're subpar. I'm just saying if they're not the best that Ripple should go out and hire, but they're doing it because it's a strategic move. They have the connections. Somebody out there said it. I heard you. Hey, don't you do that. Don't you say it before I said it. I don't know what you're on. Be respectful now. Now, you can say it when you want. I'm just messing with you. But what'd you say? They have the connections for what? They have the connections. Say it with me. They have the connections for the collection. They're not letting it sink in. Let it sink. The connections for the collection. Wait a minute. That's why they're doing this. Wait a minute. Let's keep going. This is, for example, the company hired Lauren Believe, a former official in the White House office. We can go name after name after name ad infinitum. They've been hiring on a hiring spree all these years, bringing in all of these different type of individuals. Why? Okay, let me jump to this next. You thought that was 2 articles. You think that was it? No, I know I have another one. Now, this one here, folks. See, I had a hard time deciding to put this third and not put it first, but I put it third because it's a little part Bitcoin news, but a part of it has a lot to do with the future of XRP, folks. And I've been telling people, keep their eyes, those peepers, jeepers, creepers, keep your peepers on this. Let's scroll up here. Look at this. So this is a little bit of Bitcoin news, a little bit of XRP news. I'm going to explain why. You'll probably understand from the title. This article is titled, Bitcoin may hit $1 million. That sounds good. Take that. To me, what that I take from that, Bitcoin remains super bullish. We'll get back to that in a moment. Take that. Put that to the side for a moment. Listen to this part. Says Arthur Hayes, that's not the important part, after Japan stimulus. Japan. The place where they said XRP should go bonkers. They all, at the head of SBI, Yoshitaka Kitao, said that Japan would run on XRP. They've been doing, Ripple and SBI have been doing a great job in Japan, trying to bring as many institutions in as possible into the XRP. Look it up for yourself. Little Google search, folks. Don't let people just tell you anything. Google search it. That's how you know someone's telling you the truth. When they tell you, search it up, see for yourself. You make up your own mind. This is what they've been doing. And they just got stimulus? What's that going to go to? You think it's only going to affect Bitcoin? But let's read this little tidbit here, because we'll come back to that tomorrow as far as that aspect that has to do with XRP and the bank coin companies in Japan. Japan and its financial system are in trouble, hence why they're doing stimulus. China also was talking about stimulus some months back. Then that news got buried. Remember I covered that? I showed you the article. The financial systems around the world are on fire, but they're taking actions early in Japan and as well as China. This is going to affect the future heavily. So because the financial systems are on fire, like in Japan, that leans them closer to adopting the new financial system. And of course, all that extra value doesn't hurt at all, does it? No. But let's read this little tidbit here. The BitMEX co-founder suggested this dynamic could catalyze Bitcoin's rise to 7 figures while simultaneously triggering appreciation in the Japanese yen. If that were to occur, and I won't say $1 million, but to each his own. If you believe that, so be it. I'm not against it. I'm not here to slap something down. But I will say just if something good happens for Bitcoin, let me put it that way. You think that's not going to touch everything else? When every time Bitcoin is doing great, everything else does great with it. All the top cryptos do well also. Huh? Let's keep going. BitMEX co-founder Arthur Hayes predicts Bitcoin may surge to $1 million following Japan's announcement for economic stimulus measures designed to ease inflation's impact on households. Prime Minister Sane Takachi, my apologies if I mispronounced that, unveiled the package on Tuesday. Oh, they got the package. The package. Who knows where that's from? which includes, if you know where that's from, you're legendary, right? Which includes subsidies for electricity and gas charges alongside regional grants to support small and medium-sized businesses. The future is looking so good right now. It's unbelievable what I'm witnessing. I'll say that. I'll speak for myself because some other people may be like, I'm not seeing much, Mick. I don't control what you see. I don't control your perspective or your perception. It says Hayes interpreted the development as a precursor to increased fiat money printing by Japan's central bank. Interesting. Very interesting, is it not? And who's close with Japan's central bank? Let's keep going. The BitMEX co-founder suggested this dynamic, these are facts people can't get around, suggested this dynamic could catalyze Bitcoin's rise to 7 figures while simultaneously triggering an appreciation in the Japanese yen. According to his Tuesday post on X, I would never put all my eggs in one basket. Even when it comes to focus. Is this a good catalyst? Yes. Is it the only catalyst? No. Am I looking much more long-term? Yes. Does this have an impact long-term? Yes, it does. Do I expect this to have an impact in the immediacy to where I think things can go? No. Can it still have an impact on Bitcoin's price as well as XRP and Bankcoin? Yes. Should we all wait to see how everything moves? Yes. Patience is a virtue for a reason. All right. The stimulus measures aim to ease price pressure and encourage wage increases across Japan's economy. Takachi's approach represents her first major policy initiative as the country's first female prime minister, though investors view the move as a mixed signal for upcoming interest rate decisions. Hayes previously forecasted that the Bank of Japan's pivot to quantitative easing would serve as a significant catalyst for Bitcoin and risk assets. Yeah, but that's an easy prediction. You can see that coming from a mile away. We've been talking about the dilapidated state of Japan's financial system here for years. You can go back. Those videos are still up. For years, we've been talking about it. But they're not the only ones. And that's key. They're not alone in this. They're making the news. And I'll tell you what, a lot of other countries are very good at burying the news about how antiquated their systems are. Antiquated the systems are, and anachronistic the mentalities and minds that control the systems are. But let's continue on here. It says quantitative easing involves central banks. Well, we know what that is, right? Should I read that anyway? No, I'm not going to read it anyway. I think everyone knows what quantitative easing is by now, or most people do. So let's move. Majority wins. Let's go. The Bank of Japan's next monetary policy meeting is scheduled for October 29th. Most analysts expect the central bank to deliver a 0.75% interest rate hike by early 2026, though no clear consensus exists on the specific timeline, according to Monday reports. All right, so we're going to see what type of impact this has. It says the yen fell to a 1-week low on Tuesday after Takachi assumed office. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is recovering from its dip to a 4-month low of $104,000 on Friday, with large cryptocurrency investors saying, why would you not put the current price? I mean, we know that if you put the current price, that it's priced at the time of this article, just put the current price. Why are you going to put the low price there? Come on now. Bitcoin current price. I'm doing a little Google search. Yes, I'm still using Google. I like it. You know what's funny? It took me years to get used to Google. It did. I rejected it at first. I did not want to use Google at all when I was younger. Now that I'm older, I'm like, well, I've grown. It's grown on me. It's grown, and it's improved. Right now, current Bitcoin price at the time of this video, which will be released many hours later, is $109,704.90. So the price may change by the time you see this video, but that's the current price. Doing well, looking solid, in my humble opinion. We're seeing resilience. All right, so now we'll leave that there. Bitcoin's looking healthy and good, in my humble opinion, not financial advice. So now, let's end off here. I had a little bit of gold news, and I want to do that gold news. I do. I love gold, and I want to continue to cover it. So now, here we go. I love gold, and let me just make that clear. I love gold almost more than anything else. It's just so solid on so many levels, especially as a protective asset, for sure. So now, this article is titled, Gold Prices Continue. Wait. To stabilize above $4,100 as U.S. existing home sales rise 1.5%. Improved sales in the U.S. housing sector. Is that so? Who purchased them? I want names, and I want I want a lot of information, but let's keep going. Improved sales in the U.S. housing sector are having little impact on the gold market. The reason I said that, on the gold market, as prices continue to attract bargain hunting after holding critical support above $4,000 an ounce. Total existing home sales, including single-family homes, townhomes, condominiums, and co-ops, rose 1.5% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 4.06 million in September, the National Association of Realtors announced on Thursday. The data increased in line with expectations. Now, wait. Let me see. Who's buying them? Who's buying them? The reason I asked that, is it reasonable for me to wonder how much of that are companies purchasing these homes? Because here's the thing, what I've seen, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I am not a real estate agent, but I keep my eye on that closely. And I used to do a lot more than that in the past. But, as of recent, I just keep my eye on it. A lot of these single family homes were being purchased by companies and then rented. Purchased by companies and then rented. I mean, is that not significant? I don't know. So that's why I asked, who is doing the purchasing? All right, now let's keep going. The gold market is paying little attention to limited U.S. economic data. Why would it? I just saw the article. Hong Kong is going heavy into gold. Retail at Hong Kong is going heavy into gold. Like, there's so many positive catalysts. I mean, it's hard for this itty bitty, for lack of a better word, data to shake up gold. It has such a substantial, solid substratum. It'll take a lot to shake gold, in my humble opinion. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. So the precious metal is trying to stabilize after experience. It would take something massive. The precious metal is trying to stabilize after experiencing its biggest sell-off in years. My apologies. I beg your pardon. Spot gold last traded at $4,147.20 an ounce, up more than 1% on the day. The housing sector has improved as the Federal Reserve restarted its easing cycle, cutting interest rates last month. All right, so gold is looking good, in my humble opinion. It's going to go higher in the future. Like I said, you had the Hong Kong thing. Look that up, that little article, if you want, if you please. They're going heavy into gold, and I don't see gold buying slowing down anytime soon as long as these financial systems are having problems. You just saw what happened in Japan. They need stimulus. Gold buying is going to continue, in my humble opinion. That's just a glimpse at what's happening globally. It's not just in Japan. And I'm not talking about stimulus. I'm talking about the problems in the financial system. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.